My dad taught me how to ear tune back when I was about 11 years old, and it's made a huge difference in my playing. I can hear things and understand things that I wouldn't if I couldn't track that way. So to start out, we're going to you have to start with a bass string that's tuned with a tuner. So I'll give you a note to tune off of here. If you use a tuner, I recommend a Boss TU12 or TU12H. It actually has a physical needle, and I've never seen any tuner that is more accurate. As a matter of fact, I have a really hard time tuning with digital type tuners because they're just not as accurate as a needle type tuner. So, here's the initial note. You kind of start out with, now if you're on stage and your tuner breaks, or if you're over at a friend's house and they want you to play for them and you don't have a tuner, ear tuning can be invaluable. So, okay, say you've got your 4th string tuned perfectly to D. The next step is in the 5th fret of the 4th string. If you hold that down, that will match the 3rd string open. Now obviously that one's a little off because you can hear kind of a waver as the two notes interact together. One of the tricks you want to remember is you always want to tune from down to up. If you're out of tune, you want to drop back past the note and then bring it up to the note. I think it has to do with the tuning machines up here. If you tune down to it, I think it sets the tension up on the tuning machine, so it will allow it to drift out of tune. Whereas if you're tuning up to it, it keeps a tension on the top, or on the machine head up here, tuning nut. So always tune down below where you're going to tune up, so I'm going to come down. See, there's even more of a vibration or a waver between the two. And of course, since I brought it down lower, I know I need to come up. See, now that's not perfect because I don't have perfect intonation. But there is very little waver there. That's pretty well tuned. Now, to get the 5th string tuned, you have to hold your finger in the 5th fret of the 5th string. And the 4th string's already tuned, but we have to match this to the open 4th string. It's actually fairly close. A little bit of waver there, so I'm going to bring it up just a tiny bit. And there she is. And that wasn't a very good example because it wasn't that far out of tune. And it's the same with your 6th string. Once again, I have a 7th string, so don't worry about the 7th string up here. So 5th fret of the 6th string will match the open 5th string. And that's pretty darn close. Okay, now things get a little different for one string. You can see there's kind of a pattern here. The 5th fret of the 6th string equals, of the 6th string equals the open 5th string. The 5th fret of the 5th string equals the open 4th string. The 5th fret of the 4th string equals the open 3rd string. Now, to tune the 2nd string, it's different because on the 3rd string you hold it in the 4th fret to match the 2nd string open. And that one's pretty way off. Hear that vibration there. Pretty close. There's a pretty good waver there. And the third string is the only one when you're tuning the second string that you have to come down to the fourth. When you're tuning the bottom string, it's back up. The fifth fret of the second string equals the first string open. Pretty close. Now that's the most basic form of ear tuning. I might want to point out too that when you're doing this, you want to have all of your effects turned off: reverb, delays, chorus, flange. They all interfere. I think you can tell we're dealing with a wavering, and we're reducing that to almost no waver between the two strings. Well, if you've got a flanger and it's throwing an artificial wave in there, chorus too, it will affect your tuning. So you want to be clean to do this. More advanced method of tuning is harmonic tuning. Now let's say we were out of tune here, and actually I use this to fine tune. I'll do that basic ear tune with the 5th fret, 4th fret on the 3rd string, and then I'll go through and check it with harmonic tuning, which you really start to see whether a guitar is intonated properly or not when you do harmonic tuning, because it's more precise, I think. So in order to do a harmonic, if you're really new to this, of course only the more advanced people watching this will do the harmonic form of tuning. So same thing, we've got the D string tuned properly, and what I'm going to do to tune the 5th string is I'm going to hold my finger right above. Normally when you're fretting, it's in the middle between the 2 frets. When you're doing a harmonic, it's directly over the fret, and you just kind of rest your finger lightly over it. And it's a tricky timing because you pretty much got to strike it and pull off at the same time. So with the 5th string, we're going to do over the 5th fret, and then that matches over the 7th fret of the 4th string. And you can hear there's a more subtle waver in it. See, that pretty much flattened it out. Same thing with tuning the 6th string. Now, once you have the 5th string tuned, it's a harmonic over the 5th fret and a harmonic over the 7th fret of the 5th string. And you can hear a definite warble there. It's a little easier to tell. And the same goes for the 3rd string. There's a little waver there, but you get the idea. Now the bottom 2 strings, the 1st string and the 2nd string, your E and B, the harmonic gets a little bit different. To tune the 2nd string, you need to do a harmonic over the 7th fret of the 6th string. And you don't do a harmonic on the 2nd, you just hit it open, and the note should give you what you need. And then to tune the bottom string, you want to hit over the 7th fret of the 5th string. And the bottom string open.